happy Mother's Day to everybody. It has been such a beautiful journey together. We just, Ritu, myself and Parveen just came up with this thought, as I've mentioned this many times to all of you, to just bring people, women together who are interested in the scriptures, who want to learn more from that. Hard to believe, Ritu and Parveen, that we actually made it through a year, and such an enlightening year, and actually, Shashi ji started off our year with dharma of motherhood. What dharma should mothers follow? And then she told us, one thing you should do is learn the Bhagavad Gita. So immediately we told her, we agree. So could you please teach us the Bhagavad Gita? And she was so kind to run a beautiful, 18-week session on the Bhagavad Gita, Gita for the Goddess in You. And that was a really, really amazing, experience. And then Swami Mahesh was so kind to talk about the Kathopanishad. And that was, again, oh my God, how enlightening. We learned so much. And from all that Jnana Yoga kind of focus, we came to Bhakti with Narayaniyam with Sharma ji. And if as soon as Sharma ji turns on his video, we might, see him. But 3 wonderful sessions on the Narayaniyam, and to see Narayana Bhattadari's view of, so we have seen slightly different views, but everybody, of course, Sharma ji is also a big follower for Swami Chinmayananda, Shashi ji. So, everybody is, I guess it went back to the roots, and we drew from that in different kinds of fantastic fruits. So today we just thought we will celebrate, first of all, motherhood. We are all here, so many of us, and, mothers, grandmothers, mothers-in-law, all of this here in this beautiful, group here. And so we thought we'll say, fantastic. Namaste, Sharma ji. Such a pleasure to see you. Again, Sharma ji is also, he actually studied Sanskrit from a very young age. From the grandfather of the current seer of Kanchi Madam. So actually the Shankaracharya's grandfather was the one who taught Sharma ji his first introduction to Sanskrit. And it's kind of interesting. His wife tells me that when he meets Periva, they are together chatting away as classmates, so, and I believe Kanchi Periva after 9 o'clock closes the door and says, hey, come, let's hang out, so I think his knowledge, he has 2 PhDs in Sanskrit, and of course, beyond all of that, his absolute incredible, knowledge of the scriptures has been very, very enlightening. And in three lessons to talk about the Narayaniyam, he did a fantastic job. So thank you all, first of all, for being, taking the time. We are so, so humbled to have you here. And I think now we should, Parveen and Ritu, would you like to add something? Otherwise, I'll turn it over to Shashi ji to start out our little blessing session.
You're good to start. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Harihi Om Matrudevo Bhava Pitrudevo Bhava Acharya Devo Bhava Atiti Devo Bhava. To you all mothers on this wonderful Mother's Day, a very, very happy Mother's Day. And my humble pranams to all of you for all that you're doing, not only with your children, but in the society as well. I thought I'll start with a beautiful composition by Swami Tejomayanji, which is a tribute to a mother from a child, because that's what we all feel too towards our mothers. So I'll share the screen with you and I'll sing, but you can also, it's a very catchy tune. You can also follow. Then I'm going to just give the meaning of that very briefly, and then my wishes to you on this anniversary day of Bramhavaadinis. You are extremely, I think, a very spirited young group who's doing so much within 1 year. I'm amazed. So let's start. Okay. Maturashisha vandita bhuvi santihi naro nandita divi dharitosmyaham svodare tvaya palitosmyaham swastane tvaya shishuraham sada kelilam pataha nashrutam maya te tada vachah Shikshane mama na chakada ruchi सात्मया कृता वर्धिता मती बालवर्तनं कष्टदायकं मन्यसे तु तद्हर्षकारणं रोगपीडितो यत्कदाप्यहं सेवसे तदा मामहर्निशं विस्मराम्यहं ते कथं कृतं मत्कृते सदा प्रेमसंयुतं पश्यसि गुणं सर्वदा मम अवगुणं तु मे नेक्षसे कथम् इयमुदारता त्वयि च वर्तते नेतरत्र सा जगति दृश्यते दुर्लभा नहि बान्धवा भुवि जननि दुर्लभा त्वत्समा अयि मातृदेवो यद्भवश्रुतिश्च तत् ब्रवीत्यादरात् भावयेऽप्यहं मातरि नरो देवमीक्षते सर्वतोऽपि तं सह निरीक्षते अथ मयार्चनं वन्दनं कृतं तव च कीर्तनं पादसेवनं जननि तेऽप्यहं सर्वदा ऋणी भक्तिरस्तु मे निश्चला त्वयि अयमुदा अम्ब त्वामहं प्रणतवान् सदा आशिषश्च त्वं देहि मे मुदा अम्ब त्वामहं प्रणतवान् सदा आशिषश्च त्वं देहि मे मुदा आशिषश्च त्वं देहि मे मुदा. By mother's blessings alone, all become worshipful in this world and happy even in the other world. Mother, you maintained me in the womb and you nourished me on your milk. In my childhood, being attached to toys, I did not heed your words. I had no interest in learning, but you created that in me and developed my intellect. Even though a child's actions cause so much pain, you look upon them as a source of joy. Whenever I am sick, you nurse me day and night. How can I ever forget that all that was done by you with so much affection? You always see my virtues, but how come you never see my vices? This large-heartedness exists only in you, and it's not seen anywhere else in the world. Relatives and friends are easy to find in the world, but it is indeed difficult to get a mother like you. I've heard, be devoted to mother as God in my scriptures. I do follow the same. One who sees God in his own mother, that person alone sees God everywhere as well. Hence now I worship you, I salute you, I sing your glories, and I serve your feet. O Mother, I remain ever indebted to you. May my devotion to you be firm and deep. O Mother, I always prostrate to you. Give me your blessings gladly. So I was thinking of what to say to you all Bramhavaadinis on this day. And what came to mind was this beautiful thing about all the Trinity goddesses. Mother Durga, Lakshmi, and Saraswati, all mothers, you are that personified. By loving discipline and shaping your children, your Mother Durga. Instilling virtues and wealth of values in your children, your Ma Lakshmi. And being the first guru in the children's lives, teaching them, guiding them through life, you are Ma Saraswati. On this first anniversary of Bramhavaadinis, I congratulate you all. Under the inspiring leadership of Ranjani, Parveen, and Ritu, you've embarked on a very important journey. This spiritual quest is the most important human endeavor. And already you've done so much. You've listened to Bhagwan Krishna's teachings through the Gita, and you've learned so much more from Mahatmas like Swami Mahesh, Sharma ji, and you've done so much more on your own too. This is our true unfolding as we strive to manifest the divinity of Matru Devo Bhava in everyday life. So to you all, keep inspired, keep learning, and hold on to your spiritual practices. Bhagwan's grace and blessings on all of you as always. God bless. Hari Om. Thank you.
Mangalam Shubham, Shashi ji. That was such a beautiful inspiration. And you started us out last year and you told us to learn the Gita. We did. So what do you tell us to do this year?
As I said, keep inspired, keep learning, don't give up, and then we'll all pitch in all these, to help anytime you want. And
Fantastic.
enrich our lives as well. Don't forget that.
Thank you, Shashi ji. Thank you, Shashi ji. Sharma ji, may we bring you in?
Yes. Happy Mother's Day to all. Namaste.
Namaste, Sharma ji. Thank you.
I'll start a prayer with Ganesha Saraswati. Nishuseeta Ganapate Ganeshuttvama Ahurvipratamam Kavinam Naryate Tutkriyate Mahanare Bhagavan Chitramarchat Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Bhirvajinivati Dhinama Vitrivatu Om Vagdevi Namaha Medha Devi Jushamana Agat Vishwachi Bhadra Sumanasyamana Tvaya Jushta Rishirbhavati Devi Tvaya Brahma Gatasri Rutatvaya Tvaya Jushtas Chitram Vindate Vasurano Jushasvadrivino Na Medhe Medham Ma Indro Dadhatu Medham Devi Saraswati Medham Me Ashwinavu Bhava Dhattam Pushkarasraja Apsara Sujaya Medha Gandharveshu Jayanmanaha Devi Medha Saraswati Sama Medha Surabhirjushata Swaha Ama Medha Surabhir Vishwarupa Hiranyavarna Jagati Jagamya Urjaswati Payasa Pindvamana Sama Medha Supratika Jushantam Aham Rudre Bhirvasubhischaram Yahama Aditye Ruta Vishwadevai Aham Mitra Varuno Bhabi Barnyahamindragni Aham Ashwino Bha Ahame Vavata Iva Pravaam Yarabhamana Bhuvanani Vishwa Parodiva Paraena Pruthuvi Tavati Mahina Sambhabhuva Om Shanti 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 Pruthuvyam Putraste Janani Bhavasanti Saralaha Param Tesham Madhye Viralataraloham Tavasutaha Madiyoyam Tyagaha Samuchitamidam no Tavashive Kuputro Jayeta Kujadabi Kumata Nabhavati Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim Dhrutapashankusha Pushpavana Chapam Animadibhiravrutam Mayukaihi Aham Ityeva Vibhavaye Bhavani Srimatre Namaha Sri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Shivaya Gurave Namaha. So I chanted a few hymns from the Medha Suktam of Yajurveda and Vagambhrini Suktam of the Rigveda. And then a couple of slokas from Lalita Sahasranama Dhyanam and Adi Shankara's Devi Aparadha Kshamapana Stotra. So these Vedic hymns, they present the Nirguna aspect of the Divine Mother. And Lalita Sahasranama presents both the divine, the Nirguna and the Saguna aspects of the Divine Mother. Sri Mata, there is a first name. There the Divine Mother is presented as the Universal Mother, as the Saguna Brahman. And this is the very first name of Lalita Sahasranama. Later, she is presented as Nirguna Brahman in her absolute nature as Nama Rupa Vivarjita in the same Sahasranama. And this name is the 300th name. And it clearly gives the Lakshanam. It defines her fundamental reality. The reality is one. It is formless, Nirakara, and therefore it is Nirguna, attributeless. So it has to be understood as Aikya Rupam, as the last name of Lalita would reveal, as an intimate experience, as oneself. This is the goal of seeking, of the seeker. In order to understand anything, you need a name. You have to name it. You need a samjna. But since Srimata, the reality is Nama Vivarjita, she is nameless. The absence of a form or any attributes, it makes her naming impossible. But still, out of great compassion for the Upasaka, for the worshipper, Sri Mata, the reality, she manifests as mother. Upasakanam siddhyartam brahmano rupakalpana. And the meaning of the word Mata, in feminine it is mother, in masculine gender, Mata, Mataro, Mataraha. Pramata, it means a knower. So Mata means the knower of the truth. In tradition, generally they say Mata Satyam. Mother alone is the truth. To worship reality or Satyam in a given form, this form of Mother Divine that has been handed over in parampara, in tradition, by ancient Maharshis. In fact, all the ancient traditions of the world, they have some form of worship of this mother goddess. Adi Shankara, he presents 4 aspects of the Divine Mother in his classical stotra, Saundarya Lahari. He presents Divine Mother in the Vedic tradition as the Vedikas, Agama Vidaha, as Vani, as Saraswati, as Vak, the divine speech. Then he presents her in the Bhagavata, the Vaishnava tradition, as Padma, as Lakshmi. Then in the Shaiva tradition, he presents her as Parvati. And finally, in the Advaitic tradition, in the Upanishad tradition, he presents her as Turiya, the boundless 4th dimension state. Turiya means the 4th state, which is Nama Rupa Vivarjita, the supreme state. And towards the end of this Saundarya Lahari, which is the 97th verse, he presents this form of Divine Mother. Gira Mahur Devi Druhena Grihinim Agama Vidaha Hare Patmim Patmam Hara Sahacharim Adritanayam Turiya Kapitvam Duradhigama Nisima Mahimam Mahamaya Vishwam Brahmasi Parabrahma Maheshi. The Vedikas, they seek you as the goddess of Giram, of speech. The Vedic scholars speak of Divine Mother as Saraswati, as Brahmani, as Brahma's wife. The Bhagavatas, the Vaishnavas, they call you Padma or Lakshmi, the Vishnu's wedded one. And the Shaivites, they worship you as Parvati, Shiva's consort. And certain others, like us, the Advaitins, you are referred as Turiya, as the unattainable fourth state, while you, O Mother, remain as the great Maya, as the queen of ultimate Brahman, all the while making the universe go on its course. So Saraswati, Lakshmi and Parvati are seen as Shaktis of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. This is the conventional, traditional way of naming the Divine Mother. They are also presented as three different aspects, Icha, Jnanam and Kriya, of the same mother principle. The aspect of Turiya, that is referred in the third line. There is no mythological language. There is no naming. But she is understood as representing the absolute truth, the unnamed state of consciousness, which is clearly described in the Mandukya Upanishad. Shankara Bhagavad-pada is not in favor of any of these traditional mythological names, although he mentions them as representing the opinion of others, which he respects. But he prefers to call the Divine Mother as Turiya, the principle of Brahma Vidya, the science of absolute Brahman, of which she is also Maya, the Shakti. So this difference between these two absolutes, the Saguna and Nirguna, also called as the higher and lower Brahman, that's only really convention. In reality, according to Shankara, there is no difference. In that context, due to these conventions, these names of the mother, they become very relevant. And these names are used to worship the Divine Mother, who is very happy, who is propitiated, because she is Nama Parayana Prita. In any form of worship, there are rituals, karma, and there is mythology. There are the smritis, and there is also tattvam, there is philosophy. A sadhaka or a devotee is a person who is aware of these aspects of worship. That is what makes him or her a serious devotee. That is what makes his worship sakalam. It makes it complete. So the devotees have to take care that their devotion is well rooted in smritis, in karma, in rituals, in action. They have to make sure what they do is properly ritualistic, according to the norms. And it is also backed by jnanam, by tattvam or sound philosophy. Otherwise, the devotion becomes emotional, the rituals become mechanical, boring, and the lack of doctrinal philosophy, the tattvam, will make the worship meaningless. Therefore, in the Vedas, there is always an emphasis of karma and bhakti, upasana, in order to establish the greatness of worship, and then jnanam, sound philosophy, behind the acts of rituals and worship of this reality. The reality is one, and that one reality alone, these diverse aspects are invoked and worshipped. So in the Puranas, we conceive the reality as this loving mother, who is a combination of Shiva and Parvati, as Lakshmi Narayana, as Vani Hiranyagarbha, as Indra and Indrani. In the philosophical aspect, she is one Parabrahma Swarupani, where the Parvati, Lakshmi and Saraswati are three different aspects of one mother principles, one Parabrahma Swarupani, as intelligence, as energy, as material, that one divine mother alone manifests as all. They are not three different beings existing independently of each other. If you look at them that way, you will become confused. Your mind will become splintered. It will mislead the mind. That is why the mother is presented in the last name of Lalita Sahasranama as Shiva Shakti Aikya Rupini. This is to resolve and reconcile the misleading duality that we practice due to Ajnana. And it is removed by this Aikya Bhava. So the Parabrahman and the Maya Shakti together has to be understood as the Mata, the mother, as Shiva Shakti Aikya Rupini. When you say Shiva and Shakti, you understand them as Vimarsha and Prakasha, as motion, as Shakti and awareness. The universe is Nama Rupa. Nama is linguistic presentation and Rupa is observational, in forms. And ultimately, they are not real. While describing Shiva Shakti, it is not two different things. They should not be understood as Gada, Pata, Kudya, Kusula. Bhaskara writes that in the Lalita Sahasranama Bhashya. You should not understand them separately as pot and mat. You should know them as one thing, together as Shiva Shakti. So may we know this diverse aspect of Maya Shakti and the universal aspect of Parabrahma Swarupini by the grace of Mother Goddess. Susti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmani Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sugino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Sharma ji, most enlightening to remind us of how to understand the Divine Mother in all of us. Thank you, Sharma ji. We are so, so grateful. There was so much there to unpack. And actually, Ritu, remember, we thought we should start with the Meda Suttam, and God has heard, and Sharma ji automatically brought the Meda Suttam to us. Thank you, Sharma ji, for enlightening us with the Narayaniyam. And there's so much we need to learn from you. So we are going to bother you even more this year. So thank you, Sharma ji, for your grace and blessings to us. Wonderful. Parveen ji, you want to turn it over to Swami Mahesh?
Hari Om, and again, happy Mother's Day to everybody. And also congratulations for your first anniversary with Bramhavaadini. I think it's a wonderful effort and in the right direction. And that is one of the important aspect that I think you have connected with your life in these crazy times and connecting with the roots of our spiritual knowledge and understanding. So it was wonderful to hear Shashi ji from her bhakti and loving poem, and then her blessings, and the erudite exposition of Sharma ji. So much to learn from him. He helped me recollect some of my stuff that we studied in our masters in yoga philosophy, all this Maya and Nam Roop, and then because I was also living under a guru, so we also used to chant a lot of these mantras. And Sanskrit was not like a strong point for us, but yogic life and spiritual dimension, that was very important for us. And Sharma ji brought up some nice mantras from different texts. And in one of the texts, that is Saundarya Lahari by Adi Shankaracharya ji, the opening statement itself, the opening shloka, it says, Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhavitum Na Chedeva Devo Na Khalu Kushala Spanditum Api. That only when Shakti is combined with Shiva, when they are together, that it is possible for Shiva to move to create something. So the possibility of Shiva happens only when Shakti is combined. Otherwise, Shiva is like Shava. There is a play on this word. Ikarant represents the feminine. So if you remove this Ikarant, the E from Shiva, he becomes Shava. So Shiva and Shakti are always together. Without that, that consciousness aspect can never be experienced. So Shakti represents that dynamism, that force, that energy, that flow. And Shiva represents something that is static. So we need the mothers. At the cosmic level, we have the Parashakti, the Divine Mother, Tripura Sundari, to bring this beautiful world into its existence and movement. And that power has been delegated to all the mothers to bring that energy, that flow that is possible as a child. So you have that potential, you are always vibrating with a higher frequency in the chakras. The mothers, they always start with the heart chakra. Whereas for men, they have to start from the Muladhara mostly. So it's easy for ladies to connect with this higher vibration and feel that love, and that is why they are so spontaneously giving, loving, kind, caring, and selfless. There are a lot of things that come up in our Shrutis and Smritis, a lot of beautiful shlokas and stories. And what I was asked was that what can be the highlight for this year if I had to mention any 3 things for mothers. So first thing that always comes to my mind from my own experience also, mothers, they are the first guru for the child. We believe that up to 7 years of age for the child, mother is the first guru, mother is the first influence, mother is the first person who gives them the sense of direction, a sense of purpose, the sense of connection. If the mother doesn't introduce the child to father, the child will never know who the father is. So even that comes from the mother. And that is when the child learns to connect with the father, learns to trust the father. Otherwise, the child will always fall back to mother first if this important aspect is not explained by the mother. So first 7 years of a child's life is always something that sets the foundation for the later growth and development of the child. So first thing that comes to my mind is spiritual connection. To help the child feel the connection with the spirit, with the soul, with the Atman. There are different terms, but let's use the word Atman. That there is something beyond this body and the mind that is the essential nature. Because body and mind will go through a lot of experience of pain and different aspects of life. But there is something in us that is not changing, that is beyond this name and form that is happening outside. So that spiritual connection is something that I feel that every mother should help the child connect with, to imbibe that understanding. I'm not talking of any religious belief. Of course, you can share and you should share all the cultural and the traditional belief system that we are born in, whether you are from North India, South India, from anywhere. But more important than that is to find one's own anchor inside and not in a belief system outside, not in any particular faith outside. So self-faith that comes from connecting with the inner core of our being. And mothers, they can play a very important role here, because remember that whatever you do, your children, they imbibe from it. They observe, they learn from it. So even if your children are grown up, even now what you do, your children will still imbibe. Maybe they will rebel saying that what are you doing? You're wasting time doing this puja and that puja, but keep doing your stuff. In their own time, they'll also understand the importance of all these things. When we go to a temple, we get just a little bit of water from that little copper container, from a tiny spoon, and then we just take a sip and then we maybe touch on our head or just spread it around the body. Now, a child may think that, okay, what are you doing? Modern children who are thinking too much in scientific logical terms. You see, now there are machines that can prove that water that is in the temple during the mantra chant, during the puja, during all this ceremony, it gets supercharged. The quality of water changes. Its entropy level comes down. And we have machines to prove that. So if you have any question like that coming from your children, there are a lot of YouTube videos that can help you understand. And there's a wonderful experiment by one of the Japanese person. He was not a scientist, an ordinary person who did what experiment on the ice crystals. When the ice was freezing, he would give a particular vibration of anger, of love, of kindness, of happiness, and all the crystal shapes are different. We can look at that ice crystal experiment, because whatever emotions that we carry inside us, around us, that creates the energy field around us. So spiritual dimension does not mean any particular belief system, but realizing one's own true nature, understanding one's own energy, the connection with the mind and the emotions and the energy interaction that we have, so that you can help with. The other thing that comes to my mind would be definitely creating a balance between the physical and mental growth. Because now there is less of physical activity and more of all the mental activity. And you know that in the Indian system, we always had the Vedic tradition, culture of sending the children to a Gurukul. We don't have Gurukuls anymore. There are very few Gurukuls. And even if they are there, the modern parents are not inclined to send the children there. But the main purpose of the Gurukul was to not just give them a spiritual guidance and connection, but also create a beautiful balance between their physical and mental growth. And that is why the three important practices that were given to children at a young age, and that can be given at any age. First was Surya Namaskar, set of 12 asanas that can create a nice energy and health in all the organs and the system, and a better coordination between the different systems and organs in the body. Then the Nadi Shodhan Pranayam, we also call it Anulom Vilom, the alternate nostril breathing. Now, some of the scientists from the West, they're using different terms for all this. Yog Nidra has become deep sleep, something like non-relaxation or non-sleep, deep relaxation, something like that. You can give it any name, but remember that this, what they call as the natural biorhythm with the breath or something, a new term is coming up. Your right nostril relates to the body, is the solar energy. The left relates to the mind, the lunar energy. You need a balance of both this. The body and the mind have to work in coordination so that you have the full optimal output from your body and mind. There is coordination and you are always centered within yourself. So that was the second practice. And the third practice, to awaken the intellectual capabilities, to awaken the dimension of knowledge and wisdom that is part of our total being. They were taught the Gayatri Mantra. So these three practices, Surya Namaskar, Nadi Shodhan and Gayatri Mantra, they create a wonderful balance and harmony between the body and the mind. So this is that something that you can practice yourself, and you can also give it to your children. Just maybe 1 or 2 rounds of Surya Namaskar on a daily basis. You'll notice a huge difference. The third thing that comes to my mind is to appreciate. whatever your child is doing, even if it's a small creative thing, to appreciate it, because appreciation can really help the child to feel that good self-esteem, good self-confidence, and good connection. Because outside in the world, your child may face many challenges. Maybe the appreciation comes in terms of money, but money is not everything. The true appreciation can be just a simple connection, kind words, a joyful connection. So that is my message, or that is my thought on this wonderful day. Spiritual connection, help your children with that by following it yourself. Body, mind balance and harmony with some simple yoga practices. You can do whatever jogging and exercise that you like. Sweat it out and do whatever. But nothing can compare with the science of yoga. So give them a little bit of yoga, because investing in yoga will always bring good returns. And the third thing is appreciation. So with that, once again, I would like to wish you all on this wonderful Mother's Day. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Swamiji. Oh my goodness. Such practical advice. It was just fantastic, Swamiji.
So, ode to mother, right? We heard so many beautiful things about the mother. And I'm just feeling more inspired, you know. The generations of mothers, we've looked at our grandparents and mothers and all the wonderful mothers around us. And I know Deepa asked the question about bearing a child and not being able to do that. So maybe my poem here covers that as well. तस्वीर तेरी आंखों में, तस्वीर तेरी आंखों में 100 बार उमड़ती है, उगते सूरज की सेक कभी चांदनी लगती है, उगते सूरज की सेक कभी चांदनी लगती है, ममता का रंग लिए तेरे आंचल के तले जीवन पनपता है तेरी कोख में पल के, अपना जाया ना भी हो, अपना जाया ना भी हो, माँ फिर माँ रहे, यशोदा के रूप में तेरे जाने कितने श्याम पले, तू जीवन का आधार बने, तू प्राणों का संचार, जाना नहीं खुदा को तो तेरे चरणों में मेरे आठों धाम, तस्वीर तेरी आंखों में 100 बार उमड़ती है, उगते सूरज की सेक कभी चांदनी लगती है. So cheers to all the mothers.
My goodness,
So beautiful.
how beautiful.
That was
And
just
I would also like to share, my mother wrote a poem today morning for Mother's Day. So I would love to share that. My mother is a very good English poet. So I'm just going to see if I can bring her poem up as well. I thought that was, Parveen, of course, is amazing. But this is my mother's poem. My mother is 85 years old and she wrote this. Ma, oh Ma, you are certainly a miracle with a big heart to hold us all. You work as if you possess multiple hands. You look as if you are never tired. If we have aches, you soothe them. If we have tears, you wipe them. If we have sorrows, you divide them. If we have joys, you multiply them. The day dawns for us with your smile. The day runs for us with your care. The day ends for us with your caress, making every day in the calendar a Mother's Day. We don't know our hunger, yet you sense it. We don't realize our needs, you fulfill them. We don't feel our wants, you foresee them. Oh Ma, what will we do without you? God, our dear Father dear, how can we thank thee for bestowing on us such a wonderful gift? It is no doubt thy noblest creation that is perhaps, it is so divine. So, Mangalam Shubham, I thought that was...
Ranjani, that is just beautiful, just beautiful. And knowing your mother and the greatness of your mother, I tell you, I salutations to her.
Yes.
May I say one small
Please,
shlok?
go
The
right.
Durga shlok that
Sure,
इधर से आवाज आ रही है.
sure.
मा देवी सर्वभूतेषु दयारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः दुर्गा दुर्गति दूर कर मंगल कर सब काज मम वंदन स्वीकार करो कृपा करके आज सबको मदर्स डे की शुभकामनाएं
Mangalam Shubham, Mangalam Shubham. This is what this Brahmavadini is about. Such beautiful, talented, really, really emotionally enriched people. Wonderful. I think this is Parveen, as always, your heart that flows out into these beautiful words. It's just unimaginable. So we are so blessed. And yes, exactly. And then we have, on this, very quickly on this call, we have here Meena Mehta. Oh my God, every one of her drawings and just so beautiful here. And Manu, another poet and also painter. So many beautiful people here. Oh my goodness, I love that Ruchi has brought Soham with her. So wonderful. I think we will conclude this session here, and maybe a quick picture we can take with all the mothers. So Ruchi, we are going to take a picture. All right. Chitra, you want to turn on your video? If not, I guess she's not ready, but that's okay. Parveenji, this is the moment. Let's go ahead and
Let's do it.
Swamiji, again, so grateful to you for having stayed on and answered some of our questions. I think this was the most profound session. And futuristically, I will schedule another time. Swamiji was very kind. He said, if we have question and answers, we can send it out to him and maybe we'll take some time to make some answers. So I'll schedule that with you, Swamiji. And thank you for coming into our life. And thank the Divine Mother for
thank you everybody. Thank you Ranjani. Thank you
Mangalam
Ranjani.
Shivam. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.